Great work, folks. That's a wrap. Hi there, and welcome to today's episode of Next Wave TV. As always, I'm your host, Tony Reale. Now, those of you watching on YouTube may notice something different about today's episode, and that is, of course, we're in widescreen. And the reason for this is we're going to be shooting all of our episodes of Next Wave TV now in high definition. Be sure to check out the info section of the YouTube page for links to the HD version. Today's episode is entitled Digital Film. And what I mean by that is basically using a digital video camera like this one to capture the same look and feel that you would get from a film camera. One of the main advantages from film cameras is the use of depth of field. And basically what depth of field is, it allows you to blur out sections of your image to redirect your audience's attention to another section of the image. You can recognize this in any professional photography and most professional films out there. And the use of depth of field can really add to your film and make it look a lot more professional. So we're going to show you how to do that today without breaking the bank. So let's get started. Now, in the midst of all the equipment that you see here is, of course, the camera. And the camera that I'm using now is a Canon HV30. Since my last episode of Next Wave TV, I've done a lot of new camera research, and I came across the HV20 and the HV30. Besides having great picture quality for a consumer camera, they also have the ability to shoot in 24p NTSC. Now, that's really big because that's what film industry uses for their production. They use 24 frames per second in all NTSC countries. And you just can't find that without spending thousands of dollars more to get most professional grade cameras. Now, once you have the camera that you are satisfied with, you have to get a depth of field adapter. And a depth of field adapter isn't like a normal wide angle lens that you would just simply attach to your camera. There's actually a little bit involved with it. And I'm going to show you a little bit of how a depth of field adapter works. Alright, now the easiest way to explain how a depth of field adapter works is to simply take one apart. The model that I have here is a Brevis 35. It's made by Cinemate. It's a really great quality unit. But let's go ahead and take it apart. And first thing that you'll notice here is the 35mm lens. Now these lenses are the same kind of lenses that you would see in professional photography. This allows photographers to get different focal lengths for different types of depth of field. And what a depth of field adapter does, it allows you to use these lenses with your camera that you normally wouldn't be able to attach to them because it's a completely different type of lens structure. So what happens is the light comes through this 35mm lens and it's projected onto this ground glass element. Then the ground glass element filters the light through this achromat, and the achromat allows the camera to focus onto this ground glass element, because normally a camera can't focus on an element this physically close to the unit. But as you see here, the ground glass element takes the light that's projected onto it, and it's basically then projected onto that as a screen. The camera then records that image, and depending on whatever kind of 35mm lens that you're using, that's what the camera's going to see. Now this model, the Brevis, uses an oscillation in order to reduce any of the grain of the depth of field or of the ground glass or any dust particles that might have shown up on it from showing up onto your final recorded image. The other advantage with the Brevis is it's rated as one of the lowest light loss units because of the way that it's manufactured and the type of ground glass that they use. Now the best analogy I can come up with for explaining how the depth of field adapter works in relation to the ground glass, imagine this projector right here is your 35mm lens. The light's coming in through the 35mm lens and is being projected onto the ground glass element. Now imagine that my projection screen back here, that's the ground glass element. Basically, your eyes are your camera. So what happens is your eyes are seeing the image that's being projected onto the ground glass element. And that's basically what happens with the camera. The camera sees the image that's being projected onto that ground glass element, and then it records that image. So it's very important that you get a good quality depth of field adapter. There's a lot of do-it-yourself kits out there. Feel free to have some fun with those and get a good quality. But if you're going professional grade, I highly recommend a lot of the great models out there. There's the SG Pro, there's the Brevis, there's the Lettuce, and there's the M2 Red Rock M2. They're all great quality. Each of them is a little different, so do some research and find out which one's going to work best for you. Like I said before, the Brevis is the model that I decided to go with because it had the lowest light loss. Alright, so now that you know how depth of field works, the big question is depth of field for you? Are you willing to spend the time and money that's necessary to get that great film look for your video? And the only way to figure that out is to look at some depth of field footage and see the great difference between just regular footage that you get with your normal camera and the depth of field look. So let's go ahead and cue up a short video clip with some depth of field footage. Alright, so now that you saw that footage, if you're as excited as I was when I first got involved with depth of field, you're probably wondering, how can I get this to work? What can I check out? What are some great resources to check out? Well, if you're interested in the same camera that I use, the Canon HV30 or the Canon HV20, which is a very similar model, just a model down from it, you can check out a great forum website that I go to, and a great place where I learn out a ton of stuff. Simply is hv20.com. And I learned a ton of great info from there. There's a lot of great community people, and you can learn a lot of great information. So go ahead, check it out. See what's out there. Look at the different depth of field adapters. Look at some footage that people have taken with depth of field adapters. And see how you can use either your existing camera or camera that you're interested in to get the same look for film cameras that would normally cost tens or hundreds of thousands of dollars. And then once you do, go ahead and let me know. My email address is nwtv@nextwavegraphics.net. And I would love to see some of your footage. I'd love to hear some of your ideas and answer any questions that you have. I am by no means a professional. I am a hobbyist, and I do a lot of this freelance. But I love doing it, and I love answering questions, any questions that I can. And if I don't have the answer, I'll definitely try and find it for you or direct you to a place where you can check it out. Well, thanks for joining us. And I don't know when next episode was. I promised you every 2 weeks last episode. And it's been probably about 2 months now. So I really don't know. I am in the process of working on an independent film with a friend of mine that I'm hoping to get on here for an interview soon. But we'll see what happens. Go ahead and keep sending me those questions, and I will definitely try to get to them as soon as I can. We do have some more After Effects tutorials lined up that I'm working on right now, and there's a lot of great stuff. So stay tuned. Keep subscribing. Thanks for everyone who's watched, rated, and subscribed. We appreciate your views. Have a great day.